I was born in India into an Orthodox Brahmin caste family, and I came to Britain when I was 9 years old. When we came to this country, I was of course brought up as a Hindu by my parents. At home we had worship, we had prayer, and we would also visit the temple. For me, the Hindu faith and its outworkings really came to the fore when I found that as a Brahmin caste male Hindu, I could go to places within the temple which other people were not allowed to go into. So during the inauguration, I remember being told, well, you can go into the Holy of Holies, if you like, where the idols are housed. I started asking questions. What kind of God makes distinctions simply by virtue of where you're born or the family into which you're born? And actually it made me feel very uncomfortable, and that was the beginnings of my stage of actually questioning my faith and what I believed in. During that time I was continuing to practice my Hindu faith, and behind me is what's known as the puja room, where I used to do my prayers on a daily basis. But also we were regularly visiting the temple. I was becoming increasingly disillusioned with what I saw and what I witnessed, particularly with how I was treated with such respect and deference by much older people, whereas I was just a 15-year-old spotty-faced kid who really couldn't give a tuppence about these things. Also, while I was studying my O-levels and at my A-levels, all my contemporaries they all felt, God was for the weak. We all thought, we've got science, we don't need God. God is for the wimps, God is for the feeble-minded, etc. Because we've got science and that will solve everything for us. And so there was a real pressure to just, to abandon God and to become an atheist. I'm an atheist and I'm proud of it. But inwardly, if I'm honest, I was probably a bit confused. And it was with those kinds of feelings that I went up to university to study chemistry. At university, I met people who were followers of Jesus, people who read the Bible, who believed what the Bible taught, and who tried to live their lives as Jesus taught them to live. And I have to say that though I never let them know publicly, I was really impressed by their lifestyle. One gentleman in particular, Simon, stands out for me. He was a very caring man, but also whenever I walked down the corridor and I saw him, I could almost feel him praying for me. And there was another young man, Neil, who came alongside, who talked to me about Jesus, who gave me a copy of the Bible and encouraged me to read it. Secretly, I read through Luke's Gospel twice on my own, and they invited me to their Bible studies, and I went, where I would just make trouble and cause havoc. As I studied chemistry and as I went to these Bible studies and as I talked with people, I slowly came to the realization that we live in a world of such exquisite beauty and creation. How can I be an atheist when there is such wonder and creation all around me? And slowly I started to come to the conclusion, well, there must be a God behind all of this. There must be a creator, surely. And I remember very clearly late one evening, kneeling outside a church and saying, well, if there's a God, well, you show yourself to me, prove yourself to me, or something like that. And a few days later, it was Sunday, and Neil invited me to his church. The person who was preaching there shared about the life of Jesus. Amazingly, he actually shared from the book that I'd been reading from the Bible, and he talked about Jesus, what Jesus had done for us, how much Jesus loves us so much that he has actually done everything that's necessary so that all the wrong that we have done can be forgiven, and we can be friends with him and with God. And that was an amazing thing to hear, that we could actually be friends with God, we can be friends through Jesus. And I found myself at the end of that service saying, yeah, I want to become a follower of Jesus, and I want to be a friend of God.